Hello my people, welcome to another tutorial. My name is Agnes. In today's tutorial we are going to be making this simple summer top. I used the granny stitch, which I think is known by everybody. It's quite easy to make. As long as you have a tape measure, you can make this in any size that you like. I will be telling you what measurements you need to take and how to adjust this to your preference. You can find some of my written patterns on Etsy. That's Etsy Crochet's shop on Etsy. And yeah, so let's get into it. So for the yarn today, I'm going to be using Kira yarn. It's from Volido. It's 50 grams and 125 meters per skein. It recommends a 2.5 to 3.5 millimeter hook, and it's 100% cotton. Yeah, you can use any other yarn. It's more like mercerized cotton yarn, and I'm going to be using a 3 millimeter hook. It's more like a size 2 yarn. So you need scissors, and of course you're going to need a tape measure. So let's start. So for our panels, we are going to start with this bottom ribbing, and then we'll work the granny stitch until we get to where we're starting our armholes, and then we'll make some reductions and then just work straight. And when we are coming to the end, about 2 inches before the top, we'll make this neckline here, and that will be our panel, and it will be a repeat of this, so it will make 2 identical panels. And now let's start with the bottom ribbing. We are going to start with a foundation chain, which is this length of our waistband. So I'm going to chain 20. You can make it shorter or longer, depends on your preference. So make a slip knot, and I'm going to chain 20. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. So I have 20 chains, and I'm going to be working half double crochets in these chains as our row 1. So you're going to yarn over like this, and you're going to skip the first 2 chains, 1, 2, and into the 3rd chain you're going to make a half double crochet. So skip 1, 2, into the 3rd chain, make a half double crochet. You have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all 3, and then you're going to go into every chain with a half double crochet. All right, so let's work 1 half double crochet in every chain until we get to the end of the chain, and I'll see you there. So I'm coming towards the end of the chain. This is my last one, my 18th half double crochet. Then we have 18 half double crochets in this case, and it's about 3.5 inches or 3.25 around there. So from here to here, so we are working from one end to the other end. Now for row 2, you're going to chain 1, and then you're going to turn your work. Chain 1 does not count as a stitch, so you're going to yarn over, and in this we are working only in the back loop, so you're going to be working only in these loops here at the back. Okay, so you yarn over, and in this first loop in the back you're going to make a half double crochet like that. Going to the 2nd loop here, pull through, and then pull through all into the 3rd back loop only, like that. Only in the back loop you're going to make 1 half double crochet in every back loop, and I'll meet you at the end of row 2. So I'm going to getting to the end. I have 17 already and I need 18 half double crochets. So on this top of this chain is where I'm going to make my 18th one, like that. And then for the next row we are just going to repeat row 2. You chain 1, turn your work, and you're going to work only in the back loop of every stitch. Make sure you're working a half double crochet in every stitch, only in the back loop. And I'm going to meet you at the end of the row. It's the same, but I just want to show you one more time how we finish it off, because to keep your sides straight you need to place your very first stitches and last stitches in the right place for you to be able to keep those edges right. So here we are, I have my 17 and I need to work my last one. So in this very last stitch here is where you work your last one. That's my 18th. Make sure you have the same number of stitches on every row, and to start the next row is just chain 1, yarn over, of course skip the chain stitch there, and in the very first back loop make your half double crochet and work half double crochets all the way to the end. And you're just going to repeat this until you have, so you need your bust measurements. First of all, these are the measurements that you need. My bust measurements is 33. That's my bust measurements, 33 inches. Then you divide that by 2. When I divide that by 2, it is 16 and a half. 33 divided by 2 is 16 and a half. And now since we are working in 2 panels, so that's why I divide by 2. And then I'm going to take 16 and a half. I'm going to take 4 inches from that. So that gives me 12 and a half. So I'm going to work until I have about 12 and a half inches. That will be my waist. So if you want your work a little bit bigger, then you can go ahead and add more inches to, you know, subtract less. I subtracted 4 because the work is stretchy. This is stretchy. So I subtracted 4. You can subtract only 3 or only 2 depending on how big you want your work to fit. Okay. Yeah. So here is my work. As you can see, it is stretchy and it is about 12 and a half inches. It's 12 and a half inches. And now I need to start on the granny stitch, but before that we are going to work a row of single crochets here. So watch this. Once you're done, you're going to chain 1, and we're going to be working 2 single crochets in every row. By every row I mean this double crochet row, this double crochet row, this half double crochet row, this half double crochet row. So these are 2 rows, these are 2 rows, these are 2 rows. So in every 2 rows we are making 4 single crochets. So this chain 1 is going to count as a stitch. So what I'm going to do, I need 2 stitches in this first row. So chain 1 already counts as a stitch. So I'm going to just go into here and make my second single crochet. Like that. And then I'm going to go here, make a single crochet, and then here, make a single crochet. So now I have like 1, 2, 3 plus the chain 1 that counts as a stitch. That's 4 in these these 2 rows, and then I'm going to repeat the same. So I need 4 stitches in these 2 rows. So I'll just put 1 here, put another here. If it's like hard for you to place them, you can just put like that's 3 and that's 4, like that. So if it's hard for you to place like I'm placing it, you can just go like in here and put 2, and then go in here and put 2, in here and put 2, in here and put 2, like all at once, not like how I'm separating them. So I would go like in here, in this row here, put like 2, and probably go in this row like from here and put 2 like this. Yeah, so now you have already 4 in those 2 rows, and just go again like in here, put 2, and then in this next row also put 2 in that very same stitch like that. So it depends on what you think looks nicer. I think this looks nicer, but it's definitely you need to be careful so that you're not missing any stitches with that. So you're just going to do this until you get to the end, and I will meet you at the end. Okay, so the number of stitches here should be the double number of your rows. So I'm coming to the end of this single crochet row. So in my last row here, I'm going to put 2 single crochets. That's 1, and that's 2. I'm just going to put it in here so that's more secure. So now that we have that done, I'm going to start on the granny stitch row. So for our first row of the granny stitch, you're going to chain 2 like that, turn your work, and we're going to work a double crochet first. So yarn over, and this very first stitch, of course in both loops, you're going to go in and make a double crochet like that. So we are starting with a double crochet. You're going to yarn over and skip 1, 2 stitches, and in the third stitch you're going to make 3 double crochets. So that's 1 double crochet. In the same stitch, make your second double crochet, and in the same very stitch you're going to make your third double crochet. So you have a double crochet here, chain 2 didn't count as a stitch, so 1 double crochet, skip 2, 3 double crochets, and then 1, 2, in the third 3 double crochets again, and you're just going to keep repeating this, and I'll meet you at the end to show you how we close it off. Okay, so it's 3 double crochets, skip 2, 3 double crochets, skip 2, 3 double crochets. So I got to the end, and as you can see here, I have these 2 and then the chain 1 that I left there at the beginning as a stitch. I'm going to work in that, but even if you have 1 left and you want to just put in this, it doesn't matter. You can skip 1 or skip 2, depends on how much you have left. It won't affect the outcome if you at the end only, I mean, if you skip 1 or you skip 2. So I will work in this chain 1. And I'm going to put only a double crochet in there. Okay, so we start with a double crochet here at the beginning, and then we are ending with a double crochet. So now for row 2, it's going to be a repeat of 2 rows. So for row 2, it's going to be we are going to chain 1, turn our work, and we are going to start with a cluster instead. This cluster is 3 double crochets. So we are going to go into this chain space here, in this space here. It's not a chain space, in that space between the first cluster and the double crochet, and we are going to make 3 double crochets. So that's my first double crochet. I'm going to go in, make another double crochet, and I'm going to go in and make my third double crochet. So I have the cluster there. So row 1, we started with a double crochet. Row 2, we are starting with a chain 1 and then 3 double crochets in the space. So you take note of that. And now we're just going to work in between these spaces, working our clusters, which is 3 double crochets. like that, in those spaces, 3 double crochets in between the clusters. Okay, so you're going to work like this all the way to the end, and I will meet you at the end. So I worked my row 2 all the way here towards the end, and once I get to the end, I'm going to work 2 double crochets in that space. Just like we started with a cluster here on row 2, we are going to end with a cluster. So I do only 2 double crochets in there, and then the 3rd double crochet, I do it on top of that stitch, on top of that last stitch, like this. All right, so now we are going to start on row 3. Row 3 is the same as row 1. So row 1 we started with a double crochet, so I'm going to chain 2, turn my work. Chain 2 does not count as a stitch, and then in this very first stitch here, I'm going to make a double crochet. Okay, so row 1 and row 3 starts the same. Row 3 and row 4 starts the same, so you have to keep that in mind. When we start with a double crochet, we end with a double crochet. When we start with a cluster, we end with a cluster. So now I'm just going to go straight into this space like this, make a cluster, then go in between the next one, make a cluster, and I'm going to make clusters until I am at the end, and I'll come show you how we finish it off one more time. So I'm coming towards the end of row 3, just like we ended row 1. We end that with a double crochet, so I make my last cluster in here, and then on top of this first last stitch here, I make a double crochet. So I go on top of this last stitch and make myself a double crochet. So it ends the same as row 1, it starts the same as row 1 with a double crochet. Now for row 4, it's going to be a repeat of row 2, which means I chain 1, and then it begins with a cluster. Then turn your work, and I am going to go straight in between the double crochet and the cluster here and make 3 double crochets. Like that. So this is the same and this is the same. So just go in, make clusters in every space between the clusters, and we are going to repeat this until we have we'll repeat this until we are at the point where we need to decrease, and I'll come tell you how many inches that is and the measurements that you need to take before you can make this decrease here. So I did about 15 rows, and my top at the moment is about 9 inches long. And to decide how much I wanted to do for my armhole, I measured the biggest part of my arm, which is about 10 inches. And then from that, so put a tape measure around your biggest part of your arm, and then from that reduce 3 inches. So that from 10, that's the measurement around my arm. Once I remove 3 inches, I'm left with about 7 inches. Okay, so 7 inches is about 7 inches. Can be a little bit more or less, depends on how you like it. So if your arm is for example 12, you take away 3, you will remain with about 9. Okay, so from my 7, if I add, that will be my armhole. So my top will be 7 inches plus the 9 that I already have, which is about 16 inches, right? So decide how big you want your top to be, how long you want your top to be. And then from that measurement, you take away your armhole measurements, which is like we've defined it is measure around your arm minus 3. And then what you remain with is the length that we have before the armhole. All right, so my top is going to be about 16 inches long. That's how long I want it to be. So now I did 9, and now I'm going to start on my armhole, which is about 7 inches. Okay, so now to start on the armholes, we are going to make some reductions first. So to make the reductions, we are going to work a little bit different. So we are going to start with the reductions, and you're going to chain 2, and then you're going to turn your work. And instead of making a double crochet in this very first stitch, instead we are going straight to the cluster. Okay, so I will not make a double crochet. Instead, I will reduce. So I'm reducing that stitch. This chain 2 does not count as a stitch, so I'm just going straight into that cluster. Before it was like we leave this double crochet here first and then the cluster. Now I go straight into making a cluster like that, and then we're going to make a cluster in every space between the previous clusters, and I'll meet you at the end so that I can show you how we finish it off. So we are going to be reducing like so. So I've come all the way to the end, and this is going to be my last cluster here. So what you do is you work your double crochet on top of that chain 2 like this. You do not work a cluster in here, no cluster, just a double crochet at the end. And then you're going to chain 2, because we are chaining 2 at the start of every row. And then instead of working a cluster in here, you do not. So we start with a cluster in the middle of these 2 clusters. We are still making reductions, so you go ahead and make clusters in every stitch all the way to the end, and I will meet you at the end just to show you one more time how we finish it off. So this is how we are starting. As you can see, it's like going like this instead of straight up. Okay, so we start with two chains at every start, and we work the clusters between the clusters and not between the chain and the first cluster. So I'll see you at the end of the row. So getting to the end of the row, I'm going to do my last cluster, and then I'll do a double crochet on top of this chain like that. Okay, so we're just going to continue reducing like that, and I did the reductions until I had 3 inches of reduction. So you can do the same. If you like, you can do a little bit more, maybe 4 inches if you like a bigger size. That's if you like. And then we'll come and just continue going straight. So I did about 7 rows of decrease, and for me that's about 3 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I started here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's about 3 inches of decrease. Now I'm just going to work straight until I have 1.5 inches left to the top, because that's where I want to put the neckline. So now we are going to go to how we were working before, which is straight. So which means you chain a 1, turn your work, and I am going to work a cluster in between this double crochet and this first cluster. So I'll go into this space and work my cluster. Just like we were doing before. And then we'll go ahead and work cluster in between every 2 clusters until you get to the end, and I'll meet you at the end to show you how we finish that. So I'm getting to the end, and like before, once you start with a cluster like I did on this row, you end with a cluster. So what we'll do is I'm going to make a cluster in between this cluster here and this chain 2. So I'll go in and make 2 double crochets, and then on top of that chain 2 I'll make my 3rd double crochet. So now we made a cluster. So now we're just going to keep working straight like we did before. Once we do a row of where we end with a cluster, then we start with a double crochet. So that means I chain 1 and I make a double crochet in that very first stitch, and then continue to make clusters between clusters. And I'm going to do this until I have 1.5 inches to the top of my top that I want, and to the top, to the end, to the length that I want. When I'm remaining with 1.5 inches, then I'll come and we do the neckline. So from here it's clear, it's like what we were doing before we started the increases. So this is where I am. I've done my rows and I have 1.5 inches to go. For me that's about 4 rows. So now I need to do the neckline. This is how it looks on my first panel. So first we find the middle part of our work. So I'm just going to fold this, get my stitch marker, and I'm just estimating so that I can be able to do that. So now this side and this side should be the same number of stitches. So I'm just going to count my clusters, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So in the middle is my middle part of my work. Okay, so this is the row where I started my double crochets, but if you're ending on this row where we start with clusters, then it's going to be like in the middle of your stitch here, right? So now I'm going to leave about I'm leaving about like 4 inches in the middle. So that means it is 3 stitches on this side and 3 stitches on this side. So I'm leaving 6 clusters in the middle, not stitches, clusters in the middle for my neckline, and then I'm going to reduce the next 4 rows. So I'm just going to start like I was starting before. So my next row is the cluster row. I will chain 1, turn my work and make a cluster. I'm only reducing at the end, or this other side that is near the neckline. So I'm going to work. I'm going to work until let me see, 1, 2, 3, until I'm here. Okay. So this is going to be my last cluster. So on this first row, I don't make any decreases. I did all my clusters until I was left with 1, 2, 3 clusters. So now I'm going to chain 1, and this is where I'm going to make the decrease, turn my work, and instead of, normally I would work a double crochet here. Instead of working a double crochet, I'm going to go straight into the cluster. Not chain 1, but chain 2, sorry. I'm going to go in here and make a cluster. And then just continue to make clusters all the way to the end. And once I'm at the end, no decrease on this side, so I'll come back and meet you here. So I'm coming to the end, and I'm going to make a double crochet top of this chain 2, and then I'm going to chain 2, turn my work, and I'm going to work a cluster in between the 2 clusters. And this is my last row. So I just finish it off, and I will do the same for the other side. Chain 1. So this is how it looks, and I'm just going to cut this off and fasten. So this is how it looks. So I'm going to do the same for this other side. So I started here and came over way here, and now 1 2 3. So on this side 1 2 3. So I will attach it here like that. I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to go into this space and make a cluster. So I'll make 3 double crochets, and then go ahead and continue to make clusters until the end. So I will be making the same reductions that I made here. So go all the way here, come back, and then make a reduction as I go. So at the end I should have the same number of clusters on each side. So do the same, and once you're done, then you go on and do your next panel, and then you should have 2 panels done, and then we'll come and join them together. So once you're done with the first panel, you're going to do the second panel, which is very identical, and we are going to join them here at the top. I already joined this one, and we are now going to join these 2 using the granny stitch. So I didn't cut off the yarn here, I just went ahead and joined. Now on this side I'm going to reattach my yarn and show you how I did that. So here you're going to reattach your yarn here, and you're going to chain 1 2, and then you're going to go to this other side in here, and you're going to make a slip stitch. So it's like this. So we are going to yarn over, and we are now going to go into this chain space, and I'm going to make a cluster. So 3 double crochets, and then I go on this side in this space here. I'm just going through this stitch and make a slip stitch like this to attach it on the other side. Then yarn over, go into the next chain space, make a cluster, and then go into the next chain space of this side, and I'm just going into this stitch. You can go into the chain space if you like, and then make a slip stitch. So we are just like attaching it to the other side. Yarn over, cluster, basically just do this until you get to the end. So in this last one, I'm going to make a cluster. And then on this other side, I'll go on top of this double crochet and make a slip stitch, and we have attached both panels. And then you go ahead and do this other side, and once you're done, then we will come and do the ribbings on the side as well as around the neckline. So once we are done with the top, I'm going to do the sides too, and we are going to join from here all the way until this point where we started to decrease. I will reattach my yarn at the bottom here. I'll doing these first 2 loops, leave a tail, and then I'm going to go over to this side and make a slip stitch. So I'm going to go in this first loop here and onto this side and make a slip stitch like this. So I will slip stitch in every stitch. This is how it looks on this side, on the right side, and this is how it looks here. So I finished and then turned my work the right way, and this is how it looks. So you just slip stitch all the way to where we started our reductions, and now we are going to do some single crochet rows here. I wanted to do a slip stitch ribbing like this, and then it was taking so much time, so I took that out and I did single crochets instead. So you can do any other ribbing that you like out here, but I will be using single crochets because it takes less time. So I'm going to start here at the armhole, and I'm going to reattach my yarn. Of course, if you're on the other side, don't cut off your yarn and just continue, but I already did the other side. So I'm going to reattach my yarn here, and then we are going to work single crochets all around the armhole. So we are going to be making 5 single crochets in every 2 rows, and by 2 rows I mean this row here, this row here, that's 2 rows, and then this row here, this row here. So from here to here, 5 stitches, from here to here, 5 stitches, like that. So as you can see, there are some that are longer than the others. So in here I am going to work my first single crochet. In the middle here I'm going to work my second, going to work my third in there, 5th, and then 6th. Fifth, I mean. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 5 in those 2 stitches or rows. When you look at them like this, they are rows. And then I'm just going to do the same. So 1, just place them anywhere really. 2, 3, 4, and 5, like that. And then you're going to start over again. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I was bringing this along, and 5, just to weave it in. So continue to do that all around. And I'll meet you once you're done with the round. Go all the way and come back here. That's where I'll meet you. So I went all around like this and back down here. So what we are going to do is we are going to go on top of this first single crochet here and make a slip stitch to close it off like that. Then we're going to chain 1, turn our work, and we are going to go into this first single crochet, leave alone where we made the chain. So single crochet in every stitch, until you're up here, and then we make we skip 1 stitch here at the top. So we're going to be making reductions at the beginning and right here at the end. So you skip 1 stitch while you get up here. Instead of working in this stitch, skip it and work in the next. Also here, when you get down here, just skip 1 stitch at the end and then chain 1, turn your work and 1 single crochet until here, skip a stitch like that until you have enough rows that you like, and then we will stop there and have something looking like this. All right, so I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of single crochet. So we are done with the sides, and now we want to do the top. So we're going to do the same thing, and you can start anywhere, but I will start here at the top. I'll go in this stitch here, reattach my yarn, then chain 1, and then I'm going to work single crochet. So I'll just work a single crochet in this chain. So that will be 1, 2, and 3 in this row, and then I will do 2 in the next row. So 1, 2, then I'll do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3, then I'll do 1, 2 until you get to the corner. So I just did 1 here because we need to skip the corner stitches. So every corner stitch, this corner here, this corner here, this corner at the back, and this other one at the back, we are going to be skipping the stitches. All right, so what I will do is I'll skip this stitch here and go into the next and make a single crochet. So now once you get here, it's 1 single crochet in every stitch. Like that, and you're just going to repeat that, and once you get here, then you repeat what we did on this side, and the same here. Skip the corners, 1 stitch in every corner, and you're just going to repeat the same thing. When you get to the start, chain 1, turn your work, and skip the stitches in the corners. We are also skipping the stitches up here at this joint. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches on every round that we skip. So I ended up doing only 3 rows of here because I don't want to have a problem getting my head through that. And yeah, so going to sew in all the ends with my needle just to hide them, and that's it. Thank you so much for watching. This is how it looks like. I tried it on and I loved it. So give this video a like, leave a comment, or share this to your friends and chat groups. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next tutorial. Also follow me on social media. It's SC Crochets on all platforms. Bye.